Interview played in court today as a man stands trial in a murder case dating back 34 years in Spalding County. Frankie Gebhardt is accused of stabbing and then dragging Timothy Coggins behind a vehicle in 1983. Prosecutors call it a racially motivated crime. Joe Hankey was in the courtroom today, heard the recording with the defendant as he was questioned about Coggins' murder. Joe?
Well, Cheryl, investigators have said in the 1980s, Frankie Gebhardt and a second man named Bill Moore Sr. were suspected of murdering Timothy Coggins, but there simply was never enough evidence to arrest them. That changed, though, last year when the GBI received new information, and today we heard that jailhouse interview with Gebhardt from 2017. Prosecutors played the hour-long interview this morning. It was recorded while Gebhardt was in jail on unrelated charges. Investigators had spoken with several people before the interview who described Gebhardt claiming Moore and himself killed Coggins. During the interview, the defendant demanded names of those who were talking about him. He became aggressive and threatened lawsuits. Gebhardt also said he had not discussed the murder recently with a man named Christopher Vaughn, even though the sheriff's office had another recording of Vaughn talking with Gebhardt about the murder. Here's part of the interview played today.
What I'm trying to figure out is, did Bill kill him and you saw it? Did you kill him and Bill saw it? Or y'all both killed him?
Well, you did know, because I ain't killed nobody. And you did know I ain't saw nobody kill nobody. So you did know on both of them.
So why would you say that?
Well, why you not saying I killed him or Bill killed him?
Because that's the information that I've got from people.
Well, you got the wrong information.
At other times in the interview, Gebhardt said he isn't going to say he did or did not play a role in Coggins' murder. Prosecutors are expected to call at least 2 more witnesses on Monday. Then the defense will call its own witnesses. The judge said the jury could begin deliberating this case as early as Tuesday. Coming up at 6, hear why the judge issued a direct warning to Gebhardt after today's testimony. Jeff.
All right, Joe, we'll see you in about 50 minutes.